Wow, my camera's really bad. Go up, camera. I command you. That's better, and I don't have such a horrible, gross double chin right now. But I'll always have a double chin. It's genetic. How's it going, everybody? We're broadcasting live from the somewhere or other, and I didn't think I fixed my camera. Now it's totally dark. Now it's a little more light. Is it better? I don't know. How you guys doing today? Thanks for being here with me today. I didn't do an unboxing, but thank you for this. This is a hard drive. It's an expensive thing that'll help me make videos when I do documentary style stuff. Actually, all videos. I'm out here in Las Vegas. Where are you today? I don't know, but, you know, we're not in California, are we? So I don't know if you saw my video a little bit earlier, but Gavin Newsom is now in charge of everything. No, I'm just kidding. Let's be honest here. Everybody wants everybody to have a safe future going forward. But yeah, so Governor Steve Sisolak entered into a 4-state alliance, and we're with California, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, Washington. No, I don't know. It's all of Oregon and Nevada. So welcome to the alliance. It's the Western Alliance, and we're going to follow the leader. I have no idea what's going to happen. I guess the logic here is that what's good for one is good for all, and what's good for all is good for everybody. But I don't know that the state's economies line up, and I don't know that we should be following the leader. But the good news is that Gavin Newsom had a news conference today where he said they're in phase 1, numero uno. So at least, you know, they're in a phase. And I'm in a phase. It's called I haven't shaved or had a proper haircut, and I stink because I am wearing the same shirt I did in the video today. And my wife just saw this rock, and she knew I found it, but she was amazed. And she wants to put it in her garden outside, but she's afraid it'll fade. So we're going to find a nice place for the Be Kind rock, and we're going to try to be kind here on the podcast tonight. How you doing, everybody? I'm Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. If at any point your mod ship goes away, please don't freak out on me. It's nothing personal. But mods, let's get some things straight. I'm talking to you and you and you and you and you. We just are okay to moderate, but if you're a moderator, you got to set a good example. So if you don't want to be a moderator and you want to say things about call girls and you want to say things about working girls and all that kind of stuff, well, then you won't be a moderator because people will complain. So moderators, no anti-Semitism, racism, sexism, nothing against any walks of life. I don't care. Personally, if a woman was born one way and they want to live another, who cares? It's 2020, get over it, and that's the way it is. And so, yeah, and be nice in the comments, and don't put people on timeout for no reason at all. And it'd be funny to see if, nope, not in the chat, so that person that got real mad never came back. Oh, well, it is what it is. You guys are great, so we're going to talk about Vegas stuff tonight. I had a lot of really good suggestions that we can talk about in the chat, and we're going to go over some of those suggestions that somebody texted me today. Yeah, please, moderators, look, here's the thing. You're a moderator if you're on my Patreon, and on my Patreon, I am chronicling the long drawn-out process, if you're in Canada, process if you're in America, of taking all the carpet out of my bedroom. My wife hasn't slept for 2 nights properly. She gets severe allergies, just like how I'm itching my eyes right now. Well, she gets it to where, you know how my chats are like 30 per minute? Well, her sneezes are like 30 per minute. So today I finally went real hard all around the city. I went to a Target store in Las Vegas. Yeah, don't trust the Target app to tell you anything. It's not very good. So, you know, I went to Target, tried to buy some lemon pledge. I feel like a Family Guy character. We need more lemon pledge. If you get the reference, give me a thumbs up and a like. And anyways, they didn't have it. I said, well, you have 2 in hand. Well, we don't have it. Okay, you don't have it. What about the other store? Well, we can't call and ask. What kind of weird X-Files episode am I in? Anyways, long story short. Whoa, Herbert Daughtry. Thank you, process. 58 likes. Can I get some more likes for Herbert? 328 likes. Couldn't get that, so I finally broke down. We went to Home Depot. I spent way too much money that I had squirreled away for maybe, who knows if we ever go back to work money, to get the laminate flooring. And then I thought to myself, hey, all I got to do is tear out the carpets. It's long, it's arduous. Somebody told me later there's a machine. Whoa, Chuck! thank you, Chuck. I appreciate you, Chuck. That is a wild hair on that avatar. Is that your natural hair? That was a joke, because we all know that hair color only changes when you get to be old man level like me, and you get the grays and the beards and all that stuff. Thank you, Chuck. 339 thanks for Chuck. Can I get some likes for Chuck, please? Oh my goodness. And yeah, so I ripped out all of the carpet. Then you got the undercarpet. Then you got the tack strip, and then it's a big ordeal. So I'm posting it over on the Patreon because, you know, why not? I don't want to flood the Not Leaving Las Vegas group with non-Vegas stuff. It's just my personal life. Who cares, right? And then I managed to send the money to the Philippines today. Yay! But then that was a huge expense this morning. Boo! And now I'm thinking I'm going to try to sell some magazine ads tomorrow. That'll be good. And this was a big, cool, awesome thing somebody did. This is a little hard drive, and it's not little by any means. It's 500 gigabytes. So thank you, guys. Yeah, so we're in a Western Alliance, the Western Alliance. It sounds like we're going to go to war with the East or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. At this point, anything is going to happen. Yes, we have the open alliance. Open the alliance. So here's some ideas for things. What would you need to see in order to make you come back to Las Vegas, everybody? What would you need? Look at this. Vegas to Cali wants to advertise themselves in the channel. I'll let a moderator decide on that. What would you need to see in order to make you come back to Las Vegas? Well, I mean, I think... Whoa! What did I do? I made a new tab happen. What the hell? I think what a lot of people need to see is cleanliness, sparkling clean casinos, a guest experience that's second to none, that makes people confident that they can come back here and they're not going to have an issue with getting sick while they're in town. And I think a lot of people would like to see these hotels spend some of their money on testing for antibodies for their employees. And I think once we have a rapid test for that kind of stuff, maybe offer it up to the guests. Why not? Wouldn't this be a good idea? You come to Las Vegas. This is a promotion that's run by a casino chain, like a resorts company. This would, oh my gosh, mind blowing. Come to Vegas, stay 3 nights or more at the hotel, get a free or minimal cost COVID antibody test. Boom. Done. Call the marketing departments. Roll that out, because people would come here. They would come here. They would come here. I'm rubbing my eyes lower all this craps. Sorry about that. You know, they would come here for that alone. There you go. That would be cool. That would be nice. All right, so what else do you want to see? I know people want to see good value in the gaming. They want to see good value. Maybe loosen up those things, you know, a little bit. You know, somebody mentions that movie, If You Build It, They Will Come, from Field of Dreams. I wasn't going to say A League of Their Own, but that's a different baseball movie altogether. Yes. I don't have my big water today, just a little one. And I'm tired. I am tired as heck. And I'm trying to keep my energy levels up, so I drank a giant 400 milligram Rockstar, which I said I would quit, and that's not easy. So that would be a thing. Holy cow, could you imagine that? I think that would be pretty good. I think that would be a pretty good idea. You could... Oh, Okerlund is here. Thank you so much. I want you guys 406 thanks to Okerlund. So what would you need to see to come back to Las Vegas? Wall Street Warlord says friendliness on the waiters and the servers. You know, I understand that. I don't understand, actually. I think we'd have to look into it, but I think a lot of these servers and waiters here, they basically don't make a lot of money, and it's the Pareto principle, and you don't know what that is. Most people don't know what that is. It says that 20% of the money is earned. No, wait, 80% of the money is earned by 20% of the people. So, you know, in every single office, you can calculate insurance companies' sales lines for big national companies, and you can also do it. 80% of the money is made by 20% of the people. Put 10 people in a room. There's 2 people there that make more money than anybody else combined. So you always have that server that's a rock star. You always want to go back to that person, and they're the person that makes the biggest tips. They're making the most money. Well, that's good, right? But that's bad, because a lot of the other servers, they just lose it. They don't have it. They don't have a spark. Maybe some of these hotels should consider going out to the TGI Fridays of the world and look for the guy with the most swag on his shirt and get that person in, because that person can be your rock star. Or give them better incentivize them more to do a better job, because quite frankly, they used to care. I've shared this with the channel before. We had a friend, no, I said it in a video, we had a friend who worked at Palace Station, which is owned by Station Casinos, no coincidence there on the name, and they had 2 different secret shoppers. They got written up the first time for being frowny. They were a slot attendant. So, you know, you hit the button, you have a cash out, they come over. Now, what do people want to see when they get a cash out? Well, here's another question I used to ask people when I trained them for timeshare, which according to some people makes me a criminal, but it's not, trust me. Okay, what do people want to see? I used to tell people this all the time. Your regular life right now is not the same, but what was it like before? Okay, so it was mundane. You go to work, you go to the bank, you go to the grocery store, you do your thing, and then you come on vacation. People want to see happy, shiny people. Happy, shiny people. I am quoting an REM song, but they want to see smiling people. They don't want to see frowny people. So get those servers incentivized, get that slot attendant incentivized, get that person working the cashier on a bonus structure. And if they can't make it, then they can't make it. I'm sorry, but here's the thing. Those people who are good at their job, it's like Jim Rohn. He's a really smart guy, not with us anymore, but he said, you know, you go to McDonald's, you wear a paper hat, you mop the floor, you get paid minimum wage. Whoa, Steve Miller, thank you. 459 likes for Steve Miller. This is awesome for Steve Miller to be here. Thank you, Steve Miller. I really appreciate you with that red, white, and blue thumbs up. It's very American, and I like it a whole lot. So he says, Jim Rohn says, you work at McDonald's, you wear a paper hat, you mop the floor. Great, you make $5 an hour. That was back in the day. You smile like a crazy person, you make $7 an hour maybe. You learn all the jobs, you become real valuable to the company. You're the manager, you make $150,000 a year. You learn how to run the entire McDonald's corporation. You're now the most valuable person they have and boosting profits in ways. You're making millions. And people don't like it when people make millions, but my friends, there's a reason why people make millions, and there's a reason why people don't make millions. So smile more, be a top performer, be a top earner. I guess that's what I'm saying, and incentivize people to come and work for the hotels, because I'm sorry, people recommended when I was going through my crisis, they said go work for the hotels. Hotels start at $8.50 an hour. J Mac has given me $3 for a cup of coffee. There's a Starbucks that opened up near my house, my friend. It's got a very Vegas-y sign. I should do something near that. But then I would show people where I lived. Shucks. Maybe I'll go to that one downtown, but then it's drive-through only. Darn it. I went to a fast food restaurant today, and they had the ability to walk up to the counter. So if you ever want that experience in Vegas, just go down to the TS or whatever, the Truck Stop of America down on Blue Diamond Road, and you can go up to the counter inside of a Burger King and talk to a human being instead of talking into a box. I need 478 awesome likes for Mr. J Mac, please. 476 thank yous, guys. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for all your guys' support on the channel. So, we need an easy check-in at the hotel. Now, part of the easy check-in gets erased when your room sucks, right? So, I suspect that these hotels, they better be taking some of this capital they've made off the backs of us with resort fees for this long and making the hotels a lot nicer. Make the hotels a lot nicer in Las Vegas. By the way, I have a ton of these topics. We can talk about it all day long if we want to. So, make the room nicer so when you get to your room and you ask for a non-smoking room, it doesn't reek like cigarette smoke, so you don't have to go all the way back down. You can eliminate the front desk clerk by having a smoother operating system on a touchscreen. Don't put a computer in there from 15 years ago, and that's the main problem. Put something nice in there. Pay money for a front end from a developer that can do something fantastic for you. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic for you, okay? Make something awesome. Okay, make something great and make the guest experience great. Give people who use that touch screen, incentivize them to get away from the front desk where they're going to put their grubby little hands on that front desk, even if they're using the gloves and the bacterias and the antibacterials, and incentivize them to use a touch screen. Hey, use a touch screen. Have a chance to win something. Do a little spin wheel on there. That's the first. Oh, here you go. Here's another idea for the hotels. Hey, hotels, you're not listening, and that's fine. The first experience you have in the hotel when you use the touchscreen is a game that you might win something. And you win something every single time. Nick Pollock is here from Calgary, Alberta. He is from Cowtown just like me. This little hard drive that came to me in the mail was some thermal paste, and I won't even explain what that is. Just Google it. This came from Victoria, British Columbia, and I was surprised. It got here in 5 days. That was some fast shipping, and thank you so much to my friend that sent that to me. So incentivize them. Give them something when they check in. We've seen people say free play. Fine. Give them some free play when they check into the hotel. Give them a reason to use those touchscreens, and give them a reason not to come back because their room isn't in order. It doesn't. Look, show them a picture of the room the last time it was cleaned. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody else? Okay, that's another thing. And give people a reason to come back. I'm seeing people talk about the mini bars. Well, how about this? How about you clear out a space in the mini bar, or give them a complimentary bottle of water when they check into their room where they paid a $50 resort fee, for God's sakes. You know, and give them that. You know what? Let them spin and win. Maybe if you have empty rooms, you give them a free room upgrade. Could you imagine if a casino property decided that if they spin to win when they use the check-in kiosk to keep them away from the general lines so they don't have to spread the germs that they might have? Could you imagine if there was a chance for them to win the $20 trick right there? Boom, you could win right on here. You don't even have to risk the $20 trick because that's not always going to work all the time. And if the casino had it, just let somebody do a free room upgrade. You see, because most people don't know this, but casinos have... We're going to be on Vegas all night long, guys. I have to stay more on topic. Okay, so let them pay $20. Hey, listen, guess what? Here's another idea. The casino wouldn't lose money this way. So casinos have certain rooms that are set aside for certain people all the time. They're not to be used for anything. But if a front desk clerk puts somebody in that room by accident and then Mr. High Roller shows up and wants his room, they could lose that high roller whale. And the whale is going to bring way more value to the casino than they're ever going to get from, renting the room out for X amount of dollars. I was reading this book called Super Casino, and in that book it talks about a front desk clerk that thought they did a good thing. They were working at the Tropicana back when it was off the charts, the place to go back in the 80s, right? And they said that they had, I don't remember who it was, one of the Chicago Bulls showed up. Maybe it was Rodman, I don't know. Maybe that was a 90s thing. Okay, whatever. I'm not a basketball fan, and that's fine. But they gave this room and they sold it to him for some huge obscene price, like $10,000. And the next day they get called into the general manager's office of the property, and they think they're going to get accommodation. They're going to get a patsy on the backseat, and it turns out they almost lost their job. They said, hey, you know what? That room is for Mr. Chang, who comes here occasionally and flies his private jet into that little strip across from the Vegas sign. And when he shows up, he needs that room. He thinks it's good luck because it faces this part of the property that he always wins at. And they didn't have the room available. And we almost lost him. You never rent that room out for any price ever. That room sits blank until he shows up. Ooh, my goodness. So keep those rooms out of the inventory. Let the $20 trick be a lottery. Let them pay extra. Boom, you just got a little extra revenue, and you gave them an upgrade that was sitting empty anyways. Daniel Rivera says it was Dennis Rodman. Very good call right there. More water. More water. Give free water in the rooms. Give a little check-in thank you to everybody that goes through the rooms. You know, they pay what? A nickel for the water. They give you those little stubby, ridiculous things of water at the timeshare companies, and you see people walking around. And here's a tip for you, by the way. If you go to a timeshare presentation in Las Vegas and they give you a sticker name badge, take that stuff off right after you're finished. Don't walk down the strip with it. If you stay at a timeshare and they give you a bottle of water, don't carry that bottle of water around on the strip, because anybody with a brain who works timeshare knows the companies, and they're just going to harass you thinking you're easy prey. But anyways, moving on. So what do you want to see? And I did it again, and I lost my stream because I keep pressing a button on my keyboard. So what do you want to see in Las Vegas? You tell me. So that's what we want to see. What aspects of Vegas do you least like? What aspects of Vegas do you least like? Maybe somebody from the casinos is bored and watching a live stream with, 501 viewers, and thank you so much. We have to thank our super duper rock stars, because everybody's a rock star here. In order of appearance, it was Herbert Daughtry, thank you. Chuck, thank you. Okerlund, thank you. Steve Miller, thank you. And J Mac, thank you. But analytics today, guys, I got 16 chats. I think that's got to be per minute. The chat rate of the stream I don't know what that means. 1,500 playbacks. I see YouTubers that do a stream and it has 400 playbacks after 3 hours of being up, and only 4 minutes of average watch time. That is a bummer. Hopefully that includes and it improves. So what don't you like about the Vegas experience right now? I can tell you things that I don't like. I don't like those guys shoving those call girl cards in my hands. That's not a good experience for me. And you can't bring your kids to Vegas, even though you can do the kid-friendly things, and then have to explain the birds and the bees to them. That's not any way to have a Vegas trip. That sucks. Let's all admit that. But you're not getting rid of those guys anytime soon. You're not going to get rid of that. KK says, old cocktail servers, overzealous security guards, ugly call girls, resort fees, they all suck. So nobody likes the resort fees. And I've told you before, they're not going away. No matter what you do, it's not going away. But they could give us some more value for those resort fees, or make it look like you could choose what you want to use at the resort and make a base fee that they build on top of. And you know, all they got to do. Whoa, Okerlund, thank you. Okerlund says, no more early check-in fees, please. If the room is ready, who cares? More time at the resort to spend money. Have you guys ever experienced an early check-in fee? I've never heard of that. I've heard of late checkout fees, but I've never heard of early check-in fees. That sounds like a weaselly way to make extra money. Oh, here, I have an idea. Why don't you give people the chance not to pay for the early check-ins, but why don't you give them a chance? Well, I'm trying to think of that. That's not an idea, so forget it. But thank Okerlund 518 times for being awesome, and I appreciate your suggestions in here. Wall Street Warlord says, take con artists off the Vegas strip streets. That is a major problem. I don't know how to police that. Some of the major cons in Las Vegas are the Buddhist monks that people pay money to, and those guys are not monks. They are just people that are dressed up like a monk, and they will ask you for a donation and give you something, and they're very silent and stoic. And then I see them smoking cigarettes, talking on cell phones, and eating McDonald's burgers by the Buffalo Wild Wings on Harmon Corner. Not a real monk. Monks don't take money. They don't charge for things. They don't believe in it, okay? That's what that is. What's up, Albert Alvarado, my man from the Patreon? Thank you so much for being there with me. My allergies are bad tonight, JR. Like I just mentioned earlier in the stream, I was spending all day ripping carpet up in my room. And of course, what happens, happens. Whoa, Black Cane says free parking, and he's very, very generous. Thank Black Cane. 532 consecutive viewers are watching, and I need you all to throw me some likes, and throw Black Cane some likes too, please. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. You can exit the chat by pressing the X button, hit the like button, and then come back into the chat. You won't miss much. It's just everybody shouting out Black Cane right now. Can I get some likes? Can a guy get some likes? Thank you, Black Cane. No one likes the resort fees. Make them a little more palatable. Reduce them to $10 base. Allow people to add things on. Nobody likes the guys handing out the cards, but it's a First Amendment right. They can't really do anything on the sidewalks until all of the properties join in on rezoning everything through the county, which was the experience I had in front of the Bellagio. These live streams go for 90 minutes, guys, and I'm 23 minutes and 10 seconds in. So, nobody likes those. Do you like the street performers? I don't like the street performers personally because they get into it with tourists a lot of the time. They're not supposed to charge money. The street performers have an interesting backstory. I've told it here before, and if you want to hear the backstory, give me 15 likes and I'll tell you the backstory of how the street performers reportedly got here. Wall Street Warlord says, bring back great new magic acts. I think magic is a great show for Las Vegas because magicians can often run two different versions of shows. I remember going to the Coca-Cola stage at the Calgary Stampede, and it has been canceled, unfortunately. The Stampede is not happening this year. And I remember watching magic acts like The Amazing Jonathan. Now, The Amazing Jonathan almost got those 15 likes. It's very close. There's 15 likes. Now, The Amazing Jonathan is, of course, a magician here in Las Vegas. He's played several different small venues, but he would do two shows. A G-rated show at the Coca-Cola stage, which is for all audiences, and then he would advertise a nighttime adults show. He was a hard-working guy, so he would go and get a space at a little club somewhere and do a not safe for kids show. Magic shows are great because they can hit all different demographics. So I got 21 more likes. The street performers, and I've told it here before, so if you've been here before, you can listen to this part or go watch another live streamer. There's a few of us out here in Vegas tonight, I'm sure. The street performers came to Vegas, what I heard. Now, I remember seeing the first street performer ever standing in front of the Aladdin when it was transitioning into the Planet Hollywood. That was a long time ago. And we'll talk about Splash and those Topless shows in a minute. Those guys apparently had some kind of big kerfuffle. There's $100 word for you. In Beverly Hills, California, they got into some fights with some tourists. They passed laws, and then they all came to Vegas because they weren't able to work out there with a bunch of recession, oppression. Man, it's all the same thing. That's a Cheech and Chong reference. So they came to Vegas and they had a whole bunch of pushback from the casinos. Obviously, the casinos don't like people paying cash to people on the strip, and they were flat out charging people. So the street performers had some spokesperson go down to the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. If you don't know what that is, they protect the freedom of speech and the civil liberties of people. That's why they're called the ACLU. The ACLU went and got one of their big time, $1,000 suit wearing highfalutin lawyers to go to court and say these guys are just street performing. They're doing their art. The courts decided that they're allowed to be out there, but they can't charge anybody for anything. They have to work for tips. Flash forward almost 10 years, and now you have street performers telling people we work for tips. The tip is $10. They're charging for pictures. I'm not a fan of the street performers because I never know who's behind the mask of the minion, and I don't know what their backstory is, and I just don't trust it. There's a bunch of rackets you could run. Don't you know how easy it is for you to be distracted and your wallet goes missing? And no, I'm not saying street performers are doing that. I'm saying it could happen. So, Topless shows in Las Vegas. Some people are saying bring back the Topless shows. What you got to know about the Topless shows, it's a generational thing, okay? You got Crazy Girls. That's at the Planet Hollywood. That was at the Riviera. You had Lido de Paris. Oh, Okerlund. Is Cookie Jar still playing Vegas? I have not seen that name in a long time, but 553 thank yous to Okerlund. And if you're just joining us on the stream right now, we're talking about what you would do in terms of Vegas stuff. We're talking about what you don't like right now. I'm going off on a tangent, and I'm talking about right now. Can I get some likes for Okerlund, please? I'm talking about why there are no Topless shows on the strip right now. We can say boobies to whoever moderated that. You're good on that. That's not a really bad thing. Even little 8-year-old kids say boobies once in a while. Those shows came to Vegas when the Stardust and the Flamingo and the Riviera were out there in the Tropicana. And the reason those shows existed was because the mobsters that ran those places, they wanted to bring in a clientele that wanted to show class. And, what's more classy than a show from Paris? So Paris, France, not Paris, California. Not to say Paris, California is not a classy place. I'm sure it is. But they brought in everything from Paris, France. So Lido de Paris at the Stratosphere, I think, was one of the first ones. And then you had Jubilee. Of course, you had the Tropicana that had, I can't remember. And you had a bunch of these shows. And extra points if anybody can tell me why it's called Naked City. Why is it called Naked City? Anybody want to do that in the chat? You'll get a thumbs up for me if I read it, if I can read it, because I'm getting a lot of chats all of a sudden. So what don't you like about Vegas? I don't like those things. I don't like all that stuff. JR asks if in-room slots could be a thing. I don't see why you couldn't have a smart TV running in-room slots. That would be very, very interesting. What of the new customer environment recommendations from the Wynn do you like the least? Oh man, this is a lot to unpack right here. I'll be talking for 4 hours. What do you not like about the Wynn plan? Naked City is all about no secrets, I get. Showgirls lived there and sunbathed naked. Why did they sunbathe naked right there is what I want to know. And whatever happened to that area? You don't want to go there at night. I will give you that much. So, what do you not like about the Wynn plan? Wynn plan. Now, if you've seen my video on the Wynn plan, I kind of tore into the Wynn, and I was accused of sensationalism and how dare you? You're just doing this for clicks. Well, no duh. Why do you do things? Why does anybody do anything? Why do they put out fantastic advertising on television? I'm sitting on my keys. Hold on, guys. I fell on my keys. It's from Wayne's World. That's Garth, and it's a bad impression. Yeah, so, you're just doing this for clicks. They put out commercials with fantastic claims so you buy the product. But anyway, I said in that Win video, I said there's so many things wrong with this plan. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, the main thing is the logistics of the plan simply don't work. So going back to Naked City so we can put this at rest, they were the tallest type of buildings in the city. The showgirls, whoa, JR, thank you so much. The Venetian plan is better than the Wynn plan. I've not read the Venetian plan. Their plan was do what China's doing in our casinos in Hong Kong, and they're not even planning on opening anytime soon. But anyways, whoa, 596, I must be doing something right. So the Wynn plan to reopen, and if you're just joining us, I'm going to say this once in a while because I realize people join in and don't know what the heck I'm talking about. The Wynn plan says 23 pages on how we're going to do everything. And as I mentioned in the video, they gave you the technical manual on things. So, for example, you get a Dell laptop. It's got a quick start guide, and you're expected to just be able to open it, and it works. But then if you want to get a manual, there's a manual. But if you want a technical manual showing you how to take apart the whole thing, it would print out to be the size of a small phone book. So the Wynn gave us the size of a small phone book. They would sunbathe naked in Naked City on top of the buildings because there was no buildings taller. And then the showgirls would go to their show without tan lines, hence the name Naked City. Now you know. And also all the streets in Naked City are named after states in the country. Yeah, it's a very patriotic place, but it's a very bad place now that you don't want to go to, but I'll be going there soon, mind you. So the Wynn plan gave you this technical, ridiculous manual that was this thick, even down to what the employee dining room was going to be like. Do I care what the employee dining room is going to be like? But they were trying to make it so everybody would feel comfortable. So let's see. You show up to the Wynn, and there you go. There's a security guard right there. Well, I didn't come to Las Vegas to be hyper monitored by security guards. Thank you very much. And so that's the first thing. They're going to give you a COVID kit. You're going to have like a face mask, and you're going to have some hand sanitizer, and you're going to have a little leaflet like, oh, what, you don't know what COVID is? You just woke up from a coma at the valet of the Wynn. Oh, by the way, there's no valet at the Wynn, but that's understandable. Is there anything I don't know, Camaro? Yes, it's how to open the state of Nevada. That's what I don't know. How to get to the governor and say, let's talk about this, maybe on camera. That would never happen. And so when you go into the casino, the other thing that's really bad about the Wynn plan, the other thing is, well, the Wynn has had Alexa in the room since 2016, but with the amount of supervision they're trying to do, it's silly. The Wynn plan, the Alexa, okay, some people don't like that, and I understand, because Amazon Alexa, it's been shown back in 2019, I think, the Independent UK, which is a credible newspaper, they're kind of balanced. They've shown that Amazon employees listen to those things, and I don't want people listening to me, but that's been in the Wynn for a long time, so let's just go through that. But the Wynn is going to monitor people with temperature probes. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. Actually, my wife's city in the Philippines is very safe, and I go through metal detectors, and when I go into every single building, because she lives in the southern part of the Philippines, so okay, temperature probes, no big deal. But if you're sneezing, if you have a fever, for any reason, whoa, we got Ruben Eguire. How can Bellagio kick you off the sidewalk and not card handlers? Let's talk about that because Ruben super chatted and we have to interrupt the chat for the super chats. So here's how this goes, and here's why I didn't push back. And this is because I was a timeshare con artist. I was a timeshare promoter for a long time. So what I learned was that as casinos form, as LLCs happen, as new things happen, construction happens, the city started giving all of the property to the actual top, blacktop. I said asphalt one day. Somebody made fun of me. It's a Canadian thing maybe. To the road. So right to the curbside, it's all owned by the casino property. And what they do is they create a private public thoroughfare. It's on their frontage. So you can walk through that. Now, if you ever go through the Bellagio, you'll notice there are no card slappers on the Bellagio property itself. It's only right in front of the escalators where there's a public bus stop that those guys stand. And there's a reason for that. It's because those guys that pay the slappers, you know, whatever they pay them, they know where they can stand. So I was technically, and I looked it up, and it's in that video, I was technically on property owned by an LLC that was formed when the Bellagio got married to Blackstone and had kids. Brian Mendoza, thank you so much. That is cool of you, and you are a rock star. 588 likes for Brian Mendoza, 588 likes for Ruben Aguirre, and shout their name out 588 times. Please, thank you. So that's why they kicked me off. Now, they're not going to kick off a regular Joe taking a picture of the Bellagio and any other experience, but they very well could, and that's their legal right. And they do that. Somebody mentioned they might do that so people can't strike on the Bellagio property. That could be very well true. You'd have to literally stand in the door. They have Scientologists that go out there. They have the Seventh-day Adventists, the Jehovah's Witnesses. But those people all have to be in that same area. So if you're ever in Vegas, it's early morning, and you look over by the Bellagio escalators that go right on up, they're all standing there because that's the only place they can be legally, or else the Bellagio can kick them off. They can say, shoo fly, don't bother me. Okay, so back to the win plan, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about several different topics on what Vegas can do to get better, and what we need is a miracle to open Vegas, but let's talk about what it does open. We're talking about the win plan and the worst aspects of it. In my opinion, you can give your opinion in the chat there too. Man, I got good energy. Must be all the caffeine I drank. I will be so wiped out after this. Ugh. Anyhow, the other thing about the wind plan, it's the temperature monitoring. Now, some people, they have their medical prescription, their medication. That can raise body temperature. Some people take things that don't allow them to sweat as well. Some people have a genetic predisposition not to sweat. Sweating is how you dissipate heat. This is the reason why it was a Canadian invention. I don't know what they call it here. Heat index. Call it a humidex in Canada. See, 1 cubic inch of air can only hold so much moisture. So when it's humid on the East Coast, or when you're in the West Coast and you're by the water, your sweat doesn't dissipate. But when your sweat dissipates, that's what causes you to lower your body temperature. It's an automatic thing you have going on for you. It's why you survive in the heat. Well, if you don't sweat that way, you're going to have a raised body temperature. If you just went for an intense run on the strip and you want to pop into the wind, you're going to have a higher body temperature. Whoa, Paul! My blue rock is right here, but my wife wants to put it somewhere special where we see it every single day. So there's my blue rock. Rock and roll, everybody. This blue rock drives somebody crazy. This blue rock drives one person I know nuts. I'm not even going to mention who because it's not even worth it. We are a positive channel here, my friends. But anyways, they're going to check you. And if your temperature is too high, they're going to take you into the back and they're going to make you be subjected to another inspection, a poking and a prodding. I guess there's going to be a doctor on staff, or the security will be trained to do it, and that's great. They're not even doctors. Whoa, Cactus BB Vegas. Tell them it's going to be so different now. I hope it will, Cactus BB Vegas. 600 likes. That is amazing. 600 thank yous, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So they're going to be having security doing that. They're also going to have a see something, say something policy. Wow, Butterbrown 100, that's the first time I've seen you. Let's talk about what you said. Is it considered aggressive if you text your host while they're home to get answers regarding reservations? I don't. So the hosts make money by getting you to Vegas, right? I think we all understand this. So if you are on a good position with your host and you're not being overly aggressive, I don't imagine it's bad. And I know the hosts want you to come back because you're a big part of their income. So that's what that is. But so the see something, say, I don't say, I mean, look, I get texts all the time. I just got a text on my phone. I get a lot of texts. If somebody's aggressive, I mute them. Put them on timeout. But, you know, your host probably won't do that to you because they want you back. Ugh, excuse me. But they're not going to tell you much more than the media tells you. So they take you into the back room. If you don't subject to that test at the Bellagio, then they ask you to leave the property. And then they tell you to come back when you have medical clearance to prove why you had a fever or something, which sounds like an out-of-pocket expense. The other thing that's really off-putting about the Bellagio plan is that they're going to then see what your contacts are. If you've heard about this contact tracing, this is do the Jay Leno voice. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this thing? That's my Jay Leno. It's terrible. Contact tracing is where they say, who have you been with? What are you doing? And, you know, they want to know what rooms they're staying in, and they want to know their driver's license numbers if they have them, and they're going to take all of your information, and they're going to submit it to the Clark County, it's the Southern Nevada Health District and the CDC, and it's like, Whoa, dude, you are getting awfully close to show me your papers territory. And, I don't want to say the N word, but it has to do with Germany from back in the day. So there's that. I mean, the WIN plan has some good things in place, like, working harder with the hospitals to make sure it's trackable, having legitimate concern for hospitals that can't see patients that need elective surgeries, because that's a big part of Las Vegas. We are definitely a tourist destination for plastic surgery, for elective surgeries. People come to Vegas because we have some of the better surgeons in the world here. There is a lot of tourist, what they call that, there's a term for it. It's where people go places to get cosmetic work or different work done, and then they chill out and they get into their recovery mode in a city like Las Vegas. They want all that to open back up. I want all that to open back up too. So there are some good aspects to the WIN plan. The bad aspects are the constant tracking. The bad aspects are I don't know. It's ridiculous, So that's a bad aspect of the WIN plan. What do you think are the bad aspects of the WIN plan? You tell me in the comments below. Let's go to another question that we had from viewers just like you. I sound like PBS right now, don't I? This podcast is brought to you by a grant from the Ford Foundation and viewers just like you. Which ones do you like best? I think I've covered that. They want to make sure that everybody's safe and sound. Sound as a pound, as they would say over in the Brits side of the world. They want to make sure that, everybody's taken care of. There will be no valet service. They want to make sure that the performers in the show are clean, so they're going to make sure that they dip themselves in that chlorine. There's some good stuff in that WIN plan, but there's some bad stuff too, and I think the bads outweigh the goods, but if they didn't give us that technical manual, maybe it'd be better so we'd know less. I don't know. What places are you possibly going on your next trip instead of Las Vegas? Ooh, this is more one for you because I know that I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about Vegas tonight. And the question of the day is, the question of the moment is, what would you do instead of Las Vegas right now? Like right now, you're digging in your yard and you find a buried thing of cash. You go, oh my gosh, we have cash, we have a car, where are we going to go? Chris, or Chip, I said Chris, it's Chip Shiner. Hi, Chip Shiner, how you doing, man? Welcome to the channel. Given this new alliance, Gavin says phase 3, including movie theaters, are months, not weeks away. Casinos? And he's a casino employee. Well, Chip Shiner, casino employee, my goodness. I can't do Christopher Walken, but I'm trying to talk like Walken. Makes sense. 600 thank yous and 600 likes, and I want to see his name 600 times. Please, please, please. So what are we going to do? Well, I already see cracks in the alliance. I see Colorado itching to open up. I see the alliance falling apart. I have no idea what we're going to do if movie theater is going to open up in a few months. It seems ridiculous, isn't it? That's another thing where we say, well, the Western Alliance doesn't work because the economies of each state are so incredibly different. How are you going to police Oregon, a state with very low population density, and how are you going to go ahead and compare them to California, a state with mega cities? It doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. It's dumb. Where are you going instead of Las Vegas? Tell me right now, if you were going to go somewhere, where would you go instead of Vegas? I know that on our short list of places to go, we go to the Philippines, but that's not happening anytime soon. I got Banff National Park. That's a beautiful place to go. The mountains in Canada, Maui, Hawaii, Atlantic City, New Jersey. I have London, UK. You must be a jet setter type. I would love to go to somewhere in Florida and just chill out on a beach. Oh, man. Darren wants to go to Medicine Hat, Alberta. I would like to go to Drumheller. Drumheller, Alberta is where the Royal Tyrrell Museum is. And they filmed parts of Jurassic Park, the original movie, in Montana and Alberta, don't you know? Cool. Cactus BB Vegas with the Making It Rain says maybe it will weed out the Vegas rats. He wants to go to Sedona, Arizona. You know what? Heck, I want to go to Monument Valley. That's where I want to go. I want to go and see where Forrest Gump stopped running. That part of Forrest Gump where he's like, I just started running. And then he's like, I'm tired now. I'm going to go home. And the guy gives him the shirt and he goes, it happens. And he have a nice day. You know, he makes all the slogans and stuff like that. Somebody I know believed that Forrest Gump was based on a real person for a very long time. Yeah, I know. I had a girlfriend that wasn't very smart when I was younger. God bless her little heart. She really believed it. So, I mean, Pahrump, yeah, you can go to Pahrump. South Lake Tahoe is beautiful. The problem with South Lake Tahoe is it borders California and Nevada. So what you gonna do? Can't do much. I got the Amazon Rainforest. There you go. Roswell, New Mexico. Gonna go see them space aliens. Lake Tahoe. I got a lot of Lake Tahoes in here. Jenny. I'm a simple man, Jenny. Yeah, Forrest Gump was a great book. If you ever have a chance to go read it, it's by Winston Groom. He predominantly wrote novels about war like Vietnam and Korea, but Forrest Gump is a very different book that all of you should read. I know you're not doing anything except for sitting at home. Use my Amazon link. They have to pay me a few pennies. All right, so that's where we would be going. We would be going to South Lake Tahoe, Medicine Hat, Alberta, all sorts of different places up here. I got another text I'll look at here. It says, what sort of discount do you want to see on rooms, entertainment, and dining versus the most recent pricing structures? So what kind of prices do you think is a sweet spot? And don't say $5. I'll pay you $5. We used to watch a show. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Vegas, and the question we're asking right now on the podcast, live stream, whatever this is, the train wreck that it is, for what? This is like my 20th night in a row. So the question is, what price would you want to see? What's a sweet spot for prices? We used to watch a show on HGTV where they would go to a yard sale and they would buy stuff and they had to negotiate. And I would always say, just offer them $5. Say, I'll give you $5 and half a ham sandwich. So what would you pay? $5 is not reasonable, but what would you like to see? Flat $80 rate a day with complimentary blank and free parking. Okay. No resort fees. $100 in free play. That's what they would like to see. Is the Tropicana for sale? I want to buy a casino. Tony, unfortunately, the company that owns the Tropicana bought the Tropicana. It's kind of complicated, but the company that owns the Tropicana formed another company so they could sell the Tropicana and say, we don't own the Tropicana, but we kind of own the Tropicana. And now we don't have all this real estate on our hands. So, yeah, probably not for sale. Wall Street Warlord keeps shouting 75% off in the chat. 75% off, that would give some of these rooms for $25 a night. $40 for a room and $100 for a great room and $50 for a good show. I like that, Helisau. That is a good one. I like it. I think that's a good idea. So, 75% off. We hear you. Like Bush said that one day. The people that did this hear you. I kind of sounded like Jerry Lee Lewis. Great balls of fire. Nancy Bingham. Wow, Nancy wants to get heard. And I can only see, I'm reading all the chats, but sometimes I miss them. But I see those ones with the bright colors and it says food used to be cheap so the guests could gamble more. Bring that back. That brings us to a story of the Circus, Nancy. And the Circus at one point were feeding more people in the state of Nevada, second only to the Nevada penitentiary system. And so they realized that if you keep people in the hotel, give them incredibly incredibly high payouts on slots, right? And give them incredibly cheap food values and a cheap room, they'll just keep pumping money into your casino. And they found out that 98 some odd cents of every single dollar won went straight back into the machines. Hello, Luke. How you doing today? Big shout out and 580 thank yous for Nancy, who points out that she thought that cheap food was a good ploy to keep people gambling, and I agree with her. Now everything is redunculous. It's silly. Everything costs so much in Las Vegas. Derek seems to think I say circus with a TH. Blackjack is nowhere to be seen. Guys, I hate to tell you, you're going to have to tune in another night unless he comes in here looking for food because there is no blackjack here. What are we going to do? Genesis wants 1996 prices. What if the hotels ran a promotion and it said, come back to Las Vegas and party like it's 1999? Whoa. Mind blowing. Market it like it's 1996 to 1999 era, sans the whole kids thing. Boom, 1996 prices. I say 99. because what you could do is you could go to the Prince estate. See, Prince didn't like to use his music in marketing and advertising to the extent that he actually, if you're just joining us, we're talking about what we need to do in Las Vegas to bring people back, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. And I think that's good. Now, look, Prince didn't like to use his music in marketing. He was an artist. I love Prince. I am a huge Prince fan. Purple Rain, baby. Prince, Prince, Prince. Okay. But now it seems like Prince is selling out because the people that control his estate want to make that money off the Prince name. So why don't you enter into a marketing thing? I mean, Prince played at the Rio at one point. Nobody remembers this, but he actually did play and have a nightclub at the Rio. So come to Vegas, party like it's 1999. I can see the advertising right now. It's right in my head. And let's go crazy. Oh my gosh. And you could win a little red Corvette. Does anybody remember those cars that used to be parked right in front of the casinos? Right in front of the casinos, man. And you can win this car. Now the car is just a ploy to get you to stop, to sign up so they can get a timeshare lead and try to put you on a timeshare tour. That sucks. Ooh, Butter Brown 100. Man, I could do with some brown butter. Once at the Bellagio, this guy kept passing out $100 chips at the roulette table. Do I have a crazy Vegas story? Crazy Vegas story, Butter Brown. We'll keep watching, and I'm going to try to think of one as I'm talking right now. Crazy Vegas story, crazy Vegas story, crazy Vegas story. Trying to think of a crazy Vegas story. Well, there was the one time that we're on the Strip, and right in front of the Showcase Mall, a guy ran out of his car, just ran like a crazy screaming loon out of his car, and then his car started on fire, and it took so long for the fire to get there because it's right on the busiest corner on the entire Strip. There was so much traffic. Whoa, Paul, thank you, Paul. I need 588 thanks to Paul, and I need you to mash Butter Brown 100's name that many times. Thank you, guys. Because it took so long to get there, because it's the busiest corner on the Strip, and it's at a time when there was no there was no pedestrian bridges. His car just basically burned up. Like, cars are supposed to have a firewall, which sits between you in your driver's seat and the engine. So if an engine fire happens, you can get out of your car. Well, this thing was like, and it doesn't happen like in the movies, right? You know, the car explodes in a brilliant flash of light. Nope. This was a slow burn, and everybody stopped to watch this car, this little like Chevy Chevette or something like that, just have 20 feet of fire just burning out of it until it was just literally a flamed out thing. No traffic's going through in either direction. It was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen, that they couldn't put the car out because the traffic wouldn't go around him. Like, they wouldn't go around. They wouldn't let the fire truck through. People in Vegas, man, they act like, okay, look, here's the thing about Vegas. Everybody's driving from everybody everywhere else, and they just basically do nothing to try to leave their bad habits at home and bring their good habits here. But that is one crazy thing I saw in Vegas, and I have more crazy things I've seen in Vegas. But so we saw a couple of good suggestions. Well, Mike, will the Strat come out of this strong? Oh, the poor Stratosphere. Let me tell you. It used to be the Stratosphere, and it made a lot of sense. But no, will the Strat come out of the Strat? I don't know what will happen to the Stratosphere. They're going under renovations. Obviously, wow. I choked right there. Obviously, was it last year or this year? No, it was last year. They rebranded as the Strat, and they built that statue that tries to make it look like they're on the Strip. But technically, they're not on the Strip. The Strip kind of ends at Sahara, so they are kind of in that no-go zone between downtown Las Vegas and Las Vegas Boulevard, the Strip. They're on Las Vegas Boulevard. But I think for the Stratosphere come out strong, they have to do something with the local communities around it. Now, you know, there's this whole thing like the broken window principle. Puts people to work, you know, break the window to get more work to replace the window. But they also proved up in New Orleans and Detroit that just by painting the houses in an area, people take more pride in their area. So I think the Stratosphere's biggest drawback is where it sits. It's a terrible, terrible position. Bob Stupak, it's been commented here already, you know, he built Vegas World, and then he rebuilt Vegas World, and then he burned down Vegas World apparently for the insurance money, but that was never proven. And then he built the Stratosphere, and he had to lure people to the Stratosphere Stratosphere with crazy low table games and all sorts of different little hooks on gambling. And now the Stratosphere is a place you go, see an okay show, maybe eat an okay buffet, and have an okay experience. But you got the best views in the world. You have a 5-star restaurant at the top with the top of the world restaurant. You have some crazy wacky stunts like zip lines, but that's another example of the Stratosphere not seeing their value proposition, because we had a viewer, Sean Slack, who's on my Facebook and my Patreon, and he was like, hey, we'll go up there, we'll take your GoPro. They charge you to use your GoPro, and I don't even know what kind of GoPro they're using, and then they charge you for the video. You got to use their GoPro. Why don't you just learn to be better to people? Whoa, Cactus BB Vegas is got all the questions and he wants to be heard. Thank him 584 thanks. Mash his name into the keyboard. The town does need more quality. We've been doing quantity over quality for a very long time in Las Vegas, he points out, and I think that's true. We got to the threshold, though, where we have... I'm going to moderate this one about sexually transmitted diseases chats, and you can just be nice about it. We got to a threshold where so many people come here that they can't draw any more people in. It becomes logistically impossible at some points. Okay? You can't bring more people in at some points because you don't have the hotel capacity. That has a lot to do with the conventions. So they nickel and dime people who come here to try to generate more revenue, and then they build more attractions to try to get more revenue. But you gotta... if you give people a better experience, will they pay for it? That's the main question I guess I would have. If they give people a better experience, would you pay for a better experience? But it seems like a lot of people are value-oriented, but Steve Wynn did this when the last recession happened and he still had control over his casinos. Instead of lowering his prices, he said, I want to cater to the millionaires. Now, we're not millionaires, mind you, but he built extremely good experiences. And that's something that MGM seems to want to do with the whole, welcome to the show. I don't know if they've trademarked that, but they seem to want to build experiences for people. But those experiences cost a lot of money. And then when you're already being charged $40 room fees and $7 for a water in the casino, and when you're already so tight on everything, you can't pay for the experiences. That sucks. All right, so here we go. How will you react if you see a casino employee or another guest without a mask on? Ooh, there's a question of the day. If you see a casino employee without a mask on. Now, here's a gross story for you. And if you're just joining us on the chat, we're talking about Vegas when it opens. What do we need to do? What would you do if you were in this position? And in this case, the question is, what would you do if you saw somebody without a mask on in the casino? It's an employee. They're obviously on shift. They're not off shift. And they're just working. And maybe, or you're in the bathroom. Gross story, and I won't even tell you the place. Well, no, I won't tell you the place. I saw a guy working at a grocery store use the restroom and not wash his hands. He didn't wash his hands. That's gross, right? I think that's gross. And what am I going to do? Like, am I going to go get that guy fired? I don't think that's good. Somebody just emailed me and said, tell the story. I don't know what story we're talking about here. But what would you do? Would you get the guy fired? I don't know. Would you run away from the guy? I don't know. I mean, it's tough, right? Good evening, Steve. Tell the Terry Watanabe story because I can't for another dozen years. The International and Landmark. Love the live stream. Are we talking about Terry Watanabe? I gotta look that one up because I'm drawing a blank on it right now. If anybody wants to remind me, Terry Watanabe, that might be the guy who has the Buddhist statue in front of the Caesar's Palace by the tent. International and Landmark. We'll tell some stories in a live stream here because we're just keeping on topic. We'll get to the stories in just a minute because we got another 32 minutes left here and I'll run out of comments on this stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, so what would you do? I don't know what I would do. I saw a guy use a bathroom. Obviously an employee didn't wash his hands. Oopsie. But I don't want to get him fired, so I'm nice enough that I don't say anything because some of these people are trying hard to support their families, and I don't want to do that. But I wanted to just shake the guy and say, don't you know what we're up against? It's a frightening thing. You got to think that these people that work in retail, they're on the front lines of everything. They're on the front lines of everything today. And it sucks. And they have to deal with us, but they should be wearing masks, I guess. So you guys say you would run away, you would not like that, and I don't blame you. Would you tattletale on them? Would you run up to their floor manager and go, "That guy's not wearing a mask. I ain't satisfied. I want my $5 back." I don't know what you paid $5 for. Well, Paul, I don't know Blackjack in the room tonight. Yeah, he bailed because right before this, the wife came in, said, "Clean up your damn room." And I said, I know. And then the cat went, meow, 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 ran after her. Apparently, my cat sounds like one of those animated characters, and like a Muppet. Snitches get stitches, Dash says. Well, that could be true, too. Terrence Watanabe is an American businessman and high roller who oriented trading company at direct. So there's a story that we could tell, but we'll tell it in a minute because we're doing pretty good right now. We don't want to get off topic. I generally steer way off topic, and nobody likes that, right? How are you going to enjoy the pool when you have to wear a mask? Oh, question of the day. How do you enjoy the pool when you have to social distance and wear a mask? I don't know. I don't think there is any other way to do it. I don't think you should be having to wear a mask at the pool. I think it's obvious that this thing's airborne and that's scary, but I don't know. Maybe you make guests sign a waiver before they go to the pool. I'm not sure. So that sucks to think of. I don't like that. Okay. Are you going to go to Vegas? That's the last question. Are you coming here, or are you waiting for a vaccine that may never show up? Because, my friends, a vaccine may not show up for this. We might get COVID shots every year, like flu shots. What if they made those shots mandatory? You know what they're doing in China right now? This is what they're doing in China right now. They text, so they know your health status, because, again, it's a centralist government. And they say, oh, you've had it. You have antibodies. And they text a phone code, and then they have a database. And then when you show up somewhere, it has your picture and all your stats, and you have to show your code in order to go to a business. Are you willing to live under that? I don't know if I am. That sounds pretty centralistic to me. That sounds like we took a Western alliance and we juiced it up on some steroids. And nobody likes that. Gil McAuliffe says, I saw a pic on Vital Vegas. Yeah, good old Vital Vegas. That's a good blog. You guys should read it. They're missing a bunch on that. I asked my source, who I've talked about in the past, I said, what do you know about those plastic divider screens? Do you think those will come to the games? Now, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, I'm not going to stop my stream to go find a picture for you, but you can find it. It's the plexiglass you see at all the stores right now. I hope you invested in a plexiglass company like 3M, because they're doing good. And they put them between the dealers and everybody else. There's a couple of logistical problems for that. Plexiglass can oftentimes obscure cameras, and the cameras have to watch the game at all times to make sure people aren't doing things like swapping real chips for fake ones and what have you. We have to see people's hands all the time. The dealer still has to interact with the guests. The dealer still has to make audible calls that you won't be able to hear on the plexiglass. There's some talk about that becoming the de facto standard, but it might not happen because of all the logistics behind it. If it destroys the end guest experience, it's not going to fly, and that's what it is. Free Windex. Yeah, I guess so. Vaccines are for suckers, Kevin says. How does facial recognition work when you wear a mask? So much for security. Michael, yes, but we've talked about security in the hotels before. They have the ability to track everybody's gait, which is how you walk, and your footprint is basically like you have a body print when you move down throughout things. I'm sure you've experienced this. If you've been married for a while and there's somebody that's similar height and weight to you, to your spouse, you can look them over in a crowd and you can go, oh, it's that person, because I know how they move. I know how they go through the environment. The casinos can know that in a heartbeat. Have you ever seen how they make video games? They take a wireframe model of an actor and they overlay a computer animated thing on top of the actor so it looks realistic. That's all the technology the casinos really need. There you go. So everybody's saying, I'm not going to come to Vegas. And here's what I'm going to say to those people. They're sensationalists. Most of the time they are going to come to Las Vegas. They're just saying that to get a rise out of you. You know how you guys don't like me getting having a rise gotten out of me by the trolls? They're trolling you, so you'll say that stuff. You know, why wouldn't you come to Vegas? Why on a Vegas channel? Blah, 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 blah. Well, obviously they have an interest in Vegas. Obviously they're here to watch the show. but they don't like it. 6 feet lap dances will probably not work, Paul. Boom. There you go. San Francisco is closed until June 1st. Closed. Put a rubber stamp on it. That is a shame. Now, San Francisco is a lot different than Las Vegas. We have tons and tons of different disparities and differences in demographics and age groups, and we have also population densities. I mean, San Francisco is one of the densest cities on the planet Earth. It's a lot different in San Francisco, but Vegas is pretty dense when there's a lot of people here, isn't it? I've heard things like 25% capacity and stuff like that. We could do that. I don't know. Everybody's coming back. Arnold says, I'll be back. Can't do the I'll be back, but I can talk and yell like Arnold. It's going to be an interesting thing, guys. It's going to be an interesting thing. So let's look up something, and I can't remember his name. If it was Watanabe, that's a very Japanese name, and I don't think he was Japanese. It's going to be the Buddhist statue at Caesars. And there is a story about this, but I want to make sure that we have the right one in front of it. And it's a story about the Brahma Shrine at Caesar's Palace. And there's a Brahmin shrine in front of Caesar's Palace. There's a couple of plaques. They say that the little elephants are made of solid gold. If you've ever missed it, I feel bad for you because you were right near something that was amazing. So they came in 1983. They're actually cast. It's a miniature version. Whoa, Punky Power's in the house. Mr. Classic TV 1980, he has a slot channel. You can watch slots and pretend you're in Vegas. Give him 588 thank yous and likes, guys. Please, I appreciate it. So the shrine was done in Thailand, and it was shipped over on a barge, a shipping crate container, and set up there. And it's apparently... the story goes, now there's a Japanese Hong Kong action movie about this. And it's about a businessman who comes to Las Vegas, and he does so well that he almost literally breaks the bank at Caesar's Palace. Now, if you don't know what breaking the bank is, it's easy. Welcome to the blog, guys, live stream. I got about 25 minutes left. Right now, we're telling stories about Las Vegas. And we're talking about the Brahma Shrine, which sits in front of Caesar's Palace, which is fantastic. You should look. It's a literal awesome thing that most people don't even know exists. It's right between what's now Hell's Kitchen, and it's right between the main entrance to the lobby at Caesar's Palace. So it says that he broke the bank, meaning that the casinos have this theoretical max payout. And if they don't have the money, then the bank is broken. And that's what casinos are banking on never happening. Banking, get it? It's a funny pun. So it says that he did so well that he went back home and he made this shrine and dedicated it and paid several $1 million to move it here. Now, to this date, the shrine has incense. It has, literal prayer spots. It's well taken care of. It's well respected, but it's this little place in the middle of nowhere. Look at Steve Miller. YouTube decided to self-censor Steve Miller, and he said, don't forget to hit the like button, and Steve Miller was censored by YouTube for YouTube reasons, for no reasons whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense, does it, guys? Now, Evel Knievel jumped the fountain, and I've told you guys the story of that on the channel. If you want to hear me say it again, give me some more likes. If you can't make a like happen because you've already liked the video, give me some emoji likes. And I can tell you about Caesar's Palace. Now, Caesar's Palace was built by Jay Sarno. He was, in a lot of ways, a bad human being who did terrible things like massive amounts of infidelity against his wife, and he was kind of a drinker and kind of not a nice guy. But he built Caesar's Palace, and if you guys want to see, Mark wants to see it. Will women street performers cover their blanks? I don't know about that, Kurt. You're gonna have to ask one of them, I guess. So we got some thumbs up likes. So if you haven't heard the story before, this is the way I understand it, So Evel Knievel was not the Evel Knievel that you know when he came to Las Vegas. He was a daredevil that hadn't had any kind of national media exposure, but he was kind of a showman. Coined of a showman. I don't know why I said it like that. And he holed himself up in a little Vegas weekly room. Wow, 604. I'm really impressed. Thank you guys for having faith in me and checking me out tonight. He had, by the way, side note, I'm stopping the Evel Knievel story. I'm such a jerk. I watch a technology channel that has 850,000 subscribers, and I look at his live streams, and he pulls about 650 viewers at one time. So this blows my mind that, that you guys would watch this. And I get as many as a guy with 850,000 subscribers. I don't think I'll ever get to 100,000 subscribers, but I have the same chat audience as him. Why? Why? I don't know. Anyways, Evil Knievel comes into town, right? And he's kind of washed up, and he doesn't have much except for a motorcycle. He's not jumped over the Black River Canyon or whatever it was called. None of that stuff happened. So he gets on the phone, and he calls Caesar's Palace. And he calls the head office, Jay Sarno. That's the guy who built Caesar's Palace. And back then, you could get a hold of the owners a lot easier. Calls his office. Hey, this is so-and-so from the LA Times. I heard this guy, Evil Knievel, was going to jump over your fountains on his motorcycle. And he's I never heard about that. Leave me alone. I'm a busy businessman. I got infidelity and drinking to do. That's what Jay Sarno did, unfortunately. He also built Circus and Caesar's Palace. Anyway. You hang up the phone, call him back the next day. Hey, this is somebody from the USA Today. We heard this guy, Evil Knievel, is going to jump over your fountains. I never heard that. This went on and on and on and on and on. Snake River Canyon. Thank you, Mr. Rob Wagner. And so then, yes, Black, it's because everyone's interested in Vegas, but we got other Vegas channels streaming that don't get this, and they're bigger than me, so I'm just honored. Thank you, guys. So eventually, Jay Sarno would walk the casino floor. I mean, Phil Ruffin still does this at the Treasure Island and the Circus, if it ever opens, which I don't think Circus is opening again, folks. I hear that Phil Ruffin is doing the Treasure Island with his own money, and that can only last so long. But he would bump into Jay Sarno, dressed head to toe, after Jay Sarno fielded months of people saying that, calling up fake media people, and he finally said, "You're Evil Knievel." Look at him head to toe. It says Evil Knievel. When are you going to jump over my fountains? And there you go. That's what he did. That's how he sold himself. It's like Colonel Sanders deciding that he was broke when he was in his 60s, and that his Social Security check, which is a novel idea at the time, wasn't going to pay his bills, and having to go to 1,000 different places and trying to sell his chicken recipe 1,000 different times before somebody would buy it. His proprietary way of doing it. You know? I mean, it's interesting, right? Yeah. William says we should implode Circus. What would you guys do with the Circus? I tell you what I would probably do with Circus. I would theme it after big wild cats, Tiger King. Yeah, you're going to alienate 50% of the population, I guess. But you know what? You got to do something with Circus. I thought maybe the guy who owns Rainforest Cafe, who's a Tim Faretta or something, was going to buy into it. Whoa, Thomas Medina, thank you so much. Guys, 610 thanks for Thomas for being awesome today. And you didn't even ask me a question, so that's easy for me. Thank you so much. So I thought maybe he would buy it, and then they could retheme it as a Rainforest Cafe. That would be an awesome theme, come to think of it. Wouldn't a Rainforest Cafe theme be great? What other themes would be good in Vegas? I mean, you could make like a world theme where you had different continents of the world. I mean, they tried that at the Tropicana, where at a point different rooms were themed after different big resort parts of the world, off as a Copacabana, and you had the Riviera theme, even though there was a Riviera hotel. And so you could do so much with Circus, but it's going to require a lot of money. And from what I hear, he doesn't have any Wall Street money left. Phil Ruffin doesn't. He's opening up the Treasure Island with his own money. And again, that's not going to last a very long time. Okay? Dante Drake likes my T-Mobile video. That was a live stream I did with my friend Kevin from Canada. Still talk to Kevin. We chat on WhatsApp. He's waiting to get back here because he really likes slots and he's pretty lucky on them. But, you know, yeah, I mean, a Roaring Twenties themed casino might be very interesting, but you got to remember, Kathy, and that's not a bad question. That's Kathy Shepard, my friend from up there in Canada. That's not a bad thing, but you got to think about it. If the Liberace Museum closed and the Elvis Museum's not around anymore, does anybody remember anything from the Roaring Twenties? I mean, you know, Prohibition, women's right to vote just got landed, and but nobody remembers the 1920s. So you have to be something that the hep cool kids they would like. You got to have something that would bring people in and get them really interested in being engaged in the stream. or the stream. I'm engaged in the stream. They have to be engaged in the idea of going to check this thing out. That's why when the Luxor opened, it was big. It was novel. You could put a 747s. How many of them? I can't remember. From tip to tip to tip inside. It's hollow. Holy cow. Hey, look, it's the MGM Grand and it's the Emerald City. Oh, wow, look over there. It's the Paris and part of the Eiffel Towers in the casino. How do you innovate? Maybe a mob history casino. That might be good. Oh, yeah, you could take the Excalibur and make it into a Game of Thrones theme, but then again, that's going to fade from memory eventually. I mean, maybe they're going to make those Game of Thrones spin-offs, but they're never going to be the same way ever again. Or maybe Disney comes here and makes a Disneyfied theme. You could make a Star Wars theme. They're trying to milk that for all it's worth. They're trying to milk the Star Wars theme. Just wring out any last little penny in it. Last thing I heard about Disney before all this happened, and now I'm sure they can't do any more television productions, was that they're going to have the guy who played Jar Jar Binks, you know, the most hated character ever in Star Wars lore, and they're going to have him host a show that's basically a copy of American Ninja Warrior where they do Jedi-themed stuff. And I'm like, what? That's me hearing about the idea. What? You're going to do what now with my childhood? Get the heck out of here. Terry M., heating it up. Terry says, always enjoy the live streams on your nights off. Thank you, Terry, for watching. I really appreciate it. UFO and aliens might be interesting, but then the G-Men. I need 591 thank yous to Terry. Thank you so much, Terry. Ooh, I'm a little verklempt. Ooh. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves. So we got Jay with a bunch of emojis that Google decided to censor. Thank you for approving, Jay. Thank you so much, Westworld. I don't know how, but make it happen, Jack says. You know what, the one project, so if you're just joining us, I got about 15 minutes left. And the one thing that bothers me, we might go into extended time because I have good energy tonight. You guys want some extended time? Give me a thumbs up if you want some extended time. But I need some shares on social media somewhere so I can get some more people in here. Because it's no fun talking to an empty room, even though you guys are lots of fun. There was the one project that I'm sorry, I'm Canadian. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry I'm Canadian, but I'm just sorry. There was one project, and it was going to be like this futuristic city of the future. And it was going to be pretty good. I know some of these channels do overtime videos, I guess. Yeah, for people who just can't get enough. They were going to have everything from top to bottom be green. It'll be off the grid. Everything's going to be Alexa-fied and Amazon-fied and everything-fied. They were going to have big, giant sentry gun robots to shoot down any gas-powered vehicles. Probably not that last part. But, you know, and that never came to pass. It turns out one of the developers was a big, huge con man. But I thought it would be pretty cool to see all that. You know, everything is automated. The streets are all made out of brand new types of concrete that have never existed, and they light up. And you know, there's so much technology they could do in Las Vegas. They could really change the city around just like that and make it that much better. But I don't know. No Champagne Pappy tonight, Mark asks. I don't know. That person was a great channel supporter, and I don't know why they never came back. But you know what? That's okay too, because you can't make everybody happy all the time. The moderators have to be nice people, and I have to take moderation away sometimes because we all have to be nice to each other. Whoa, that would have been awesome. Oh, Kurt A. from Canada. Would you be interested in doing the history of Glitter Gulch and the future of Vegas adult entertainment after the pandemic? I mean, I'd be interested in the Glitter Gulch for sure. And the adult stuff you can't put on YouTube. And there's a reason for that, Kurt. And it's not because I'm not comfortable with it. You guys have to thank Kurt 563 times. Whoa, Paul, making it easy, not even asking a question. Guys, thank Paul 559 times. I would be interested in all that stuff. But here's what happens on YouTube. I do something. I try to be PG-13 about it. Some topics are just not PG-13. YouTube looks at it. The advertisers don't like it. They strike my channel. Hey, don't do that again. They give me a little smack on the wrist. But if I get too many of those for stupid reasons, then I might not be able to live stream anymore, or I might not be able to monetize anymore. And when I spend 50, 60 hours a week on top of a regular job. All those pennies are what I send over to the Philippines to help my godson and the family out over there, so it helps. So I would love to do that. I might have to put it on Vimeo and make it a Patreon type thing or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, the Glitter Gulch would be very interesting. I want to go downtown. Take my gum out of my mouth. It's so gross. I want to go downtown. I want to see downtown. I want to go down there when there's nobody down there. I want to take a video. I have somebody who's going to be getting me a gimbal, which is amazing, from my Leica. And I'll be able to take this Leica that shoots 4K and low light out and do the Raiders. I want to do the Raiders Stadium at night because I've been down there at night, but I heard it was lit up. So this would be a cool little thing that I could do some nice footage on for you guys. And that's coming soon. There's a lot of things coming soon. I missed a super chat. Who did a super chat that I missed? I had Paul. I said, whoa, thank you, Paul. You're making it easy, not even asking a question. Guys, I need 545 thank yous to Paul. I had Kurt who asked me a question. I don't know that I missed one. If I did, I'm really sorry. So let's go over all. I'm sorry that I'm sorry because I'm Canadian. I got to refresh my page so I can see all of the super chats and the histories of the chats. Let's see what we got here. We got... Would you do live streams, live interviews on the Strip? John, not on Your Sweet Life, because you never know what people are going to say. That's really, really inappropriate. And when you do a live stream in a mobile sense, you cannot set a time delay. So right now I could do an interview with you and I could set a time delay so I could edit things and kill the stream if I had to. But you can't do that when you're live on the Strip on a mobile phone. Herbert Daughtry was great. Chuck, you're awesome. Okerlund, thank you. Steve Miller, J Mac, Okerlund, Black Cane, Okerlund, JR, Ruben Aguirre, Brian Mendoza, Paul. I say it wrong. I know you phonetically did it, Paul. I have a short memory. It's really bad. Titler, Cactus BB Vegas, Butterbrown 100, Chip Shiner, Cactus BB again, Nancy Bingham, Butterbrown 100 again, Paul Titler again, Mike Medlin, Cactus BB Vegas, wow, Mr. Classic TV 1980, Thomas Medina, Terry M, Kurt A, and Paul Benelli. And thank you guys. All are great. I love you all so much. And I love everybody who's chatting for free and making this a lively live stream. And my hat just fell. That's what happens when the only store you can shop at is the dollar store. Yes. More free money drawings is what Dash says. I remember that. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Classic TV. That is very nice of you. He just donated 106 Philippine pesos, which is pretty cool. The hats keep falling. It's a haunted house, okay? Why don't we bring Comic-Con to Las Vegas? Oh, man, that would be a media event. You could host it at the convention center. You could do the film screenings at the Forum where Celine Dion used to play. That would be great. They won't ever do it, but that would be great because San Diego has the best weather on the planet. I'm sorry, I know. Does Prim have the biggest gas station in the USA? I think it does. I've been there. It's a Chevron. I never really thought of it, but it is pretty darn big. Pretty darn big. Guys, thank Mr. Classic. He is awesome. He's always in these chats. He's always promoting his channel, which is smart of him to do that way, and he is great. He is great. Virtual gambling from your room. I don't imagine that that's going to be the case. They don't want people in the room gambling. They want people on the floor gambling because monkey see, monkey do. For every one person who's not going to gamble when they come to Vegas, they get kind of hyped up. They get kind of excited. You know, they go, oh, I can gamble. Well, these people are gambling. Instead, they come here, they go, I'm not gambling. And when nobody gambles, nobody wants to gamble around them. And that's what it is. When you see one person win something, you get that FOMO. You ever heard of FOMO? It stands for fear of missing out. It's a stupid acronym. In case you miss it, ICMY. I gotta use these things, but they have all this stuff, and people are like, "Whoa, Joseph Drake! Thank you so much, Nathan Drake's brother from Uncharted. Wow, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your support tonight, guys. You're great. We're losing our live stream a little bit. That's okay. We have 516 people here, which again is just stupid amounts of people. Pacquiao versus McGregor may happen. I don't know about that. Conor McGregor is fast, but Pacquiao probably faster, and even in his advanced boxing age. But Manny Pacquiao is from he's not from my wife's hometown. He's from a town near there. And he's an inspirational story. I mean, he was so poor, he needed to box, and he put rocks in his pocket to make weight for the first fight he ever had. He wasn't a boxer, he was a slugger, and he's still a slugger in some boxing circles. Some people still don't respect his talents in the ring, but you know, he's building a church, a giant church in the Philippines. I mean, he had to hire people. Manny Pacquiao did, because when we would walk around in the Philippines, he would have all this American money in his pocket, and he would go broke every single time he left the house. Like, literally, I have no money left. So he had to hire people, and they made a charity. And he's been feeding people fish and rice down there for ever and a half, because, you know, that's a country where people chip in and help themselves out. And this is apparently the same kind of country. My goodness. Wow. Reason to visit to see all the casinos, not just one. You know, one thing that strikes me crazy about Las Vegas is, wow, Cactus BB Vegas, I see you before they see you. And I want to say thank you to you. Oh, Mike, my goodness. Guys, thank you so much. Guys, 507 thank yous to Cactus and 503. Sorry, Mike, we lost a few, but 507 to Mike. I had to find out how many watts total downtown. Fremont Street Experience, 750,000 watts. That's awesome. Is that still accurate, I wonder? Because they replaced the screens with those LED light panels. So I'm sure the wattage is a lot less now. It's hard to calculate those darn light bulbs. You go to the store and you pick up the bulb and it says it's 42 million lumens and this many things. And finally they started putting the equivalent of watts on the thing. Cliff Falla says he's a religious nut now. No, you know, Cliff, he just decided to stop gambling and cheating on his wife. And that's one thing that I do respect, because in that culture, it's so easy to have mistresses and it's just tolerated. But he decided not to do that. And he used to bet on cockfights. Yeah, they have rooster fights in the Philippines. He used to do that too. So I don't know. Steve, what's the biggest donation you've gotten? Armen asks. I don't want to say that because nobody will want to give anything to me. But it wasn't like thousands of dollars. But somebody privately was very nice to me. And my GoFundMe was super sweet to me, too, when I needed it the most, and I embarrassed myself and my family and put myself out there. But Dollar Store still sells Watts lights. That is cool, Luke. I'll have to check for them, because we enjoyed a certain brand that General Electric made, and you just can't buy them anymore. Yes, Evan, I will agree with you with that. Manny stopped winning fights when he found that. Oh, Leonard, thank you, Leonard, for that. That is awesome. 500 thanks for Leonard. And I got Susan VP. She is a very person, VP. Thanks for the live stream tonight. Thank you, Susan from Canada. What part of Canada are you from, Susan? I remember, Evan, he threw double the amount of punches than anybody. Man, it was awesome. So, would McGregor win a fight in Las Vegas against Manny Pacquiao? Probably not, unless there was kicking involved. Look, he got outboxed fair and square by Floyd Mayweather, and he would be pummeled and just put into a pulp by Manny. It's just too many punches, man. Too many punches. I remember that. Keep Pacquiao out of Angeles City. Cliff Falla, you're the man now, dog. Yeah, I mean, Canada, Ontario. Oh, I remember, Susan. Yeah, you're from the House of the Senators. I wonder if they're ever going to build a building downtown for the Senators. Senators, a hockey team, got hit pretty hard with COVID. Everybody is okay, thank goodness. They're all healthy young men, so it makes sense that nobody got seriously hurt and injured. I miss hockey in Las Vegas. I miss hockey in the desert. I miss my wife watching hockey when I'm not even home. She became a converted Golden Knights fan and just would watch random playoff games. It was just crazy, you know? Respect for Arnell, Steve. My fave. Oh, are you talking about Arnell Pineda? There you go. He's another guy that was in Journey. We're not even talking about Vegas anymore, because technically in 3 minutes we're at after hours, so we'll chat about anything. How's that? We'll keep it Vegas focused for 90 minutes. It'll be tight Vegas focus. Sens don't draw any fans, Bill says. How is the virus in the Philippines? Kissy, I haven't looked recently, but they have a lot more lockdown and draconian things that we do here. Let me see here. Philippines, Corona, virus. They locked out China. They deported people. You guys know this, right? They deported people that were Chinese tourists. Their president kicked them out. They landed from the Wuhan. They said, no, you're going back. Let's see here. Keep going till 9:30. I'll go till 9:30. That's an extra 15 minutes. Philippines has 7,958 cases and 530 deaths and 975 recovered. And it's hard for the Philippines to test things because they, for a long time, were sending out all of their tests to Australia to a WHO lab that could verify them. A Kiss casino, Paul says. Interesting idea. I can't imagine wanting to walk into a giant edifice of Gene Simmons and walking on his tongue into the casino, and I guarantee you that would be happening. What's the backstory about Canada Dry? I have no idea. I just remember drinking it as a kid, but I was always a Schweppes guy. I liked me some Schweppes. But I know Canada Dry is not a Canadian company. It's been owned by a British company, I think, for a while. Will Las Vegas be normal again? Of course, Kevin. We have this hope thing on the channel where we have to talk about hope. But yes, it will. The Philippines has raving patrols of goons who beat people up who don't wear face masks. Ooh, I burped on camera. That is gross. You know what? They have this thing in my wife's city. It's called an MF pass or something. It's for medical or food, and you have to hold one in order to go out. It's not good. Yeah, Kurt doesn't want the Knights to win the cup for 20 years. He's probably a fan of a team that hasn't won the cup, so that's okay. A Lady Gaga casino would be off the hook, weird theming everywhere. Let's see. Your state doesn't need a miracle. What you guys need is a governor with balls. Apparently your mayor has more balls than the governor. Salut, Mesa. I'm not arguing with you there. We got a governor that's looking out for the people, though. And hopefully trying to get people not to be sick, but maybe harming people in the process. Process? That's Canadian. I'm process. I'm in America now. Paul Kim says yes to the NBA in Vegas. Interesting story about that. Ask any local who works on the Strip what it was like in 2007 when the NBA All-Star Game came to town, and there was a lot of 911 calls, and there was a lot of debauchery that was on a level that even Vegas didn't like. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, maybe it would be good. I mean, if it was a regular thing, people might settle down a little bit. I don't know what to tell you. But there was a lot of crime that weekend, and it was not very fun for the people who lived here. GHW says, what happened to Steve Wyrick? Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. What happened to Steve Wyrick? He may be in prison. I don't know. Paul Kim was just quoting an AC/DC song, guys. So we can say Paul Kim. I got a domino. You guys want to see a cat sighting? I can give you a domino sighting. We won't see Blackjack, but we'll see my senior cat. Paul Kim, I got to answer the door. So what happened to Steve Wyrick? Hold on. I got a cat at the door. Come on in. What you doing? What you doing, senior cat? This is Domino, everybody. Say hello. He's a Domino. Hi, baby. He likes to headbutt me a whole lot. So whereas the Blackjack will just stare into space, this one here just goes and headbutts. But he wants food. You gonna headbutt me? You gonna prove me wrong? Oh, look at that. Yeah, I figure you got a magnet up here. Oh, baby. Oh, I know. I know. You're so hungry all the time, but you're so skinny and you're wobbly because you're old. You're a senior cat. And your claws don't work right either. Oh, look at that. He's got a magnet in his head. He can't stop it. I got a double chin, Domino. Don't make me show it on the camera as much. He wants food. He comes in here, and I have to lock the door because the black one will steal everything he's got. He's called Domino because he has 4 dots on his back. There they are. My goodness. He's my baby. But he's like 16, 17 years old. So, Steve Wyrick, GW, I haven't forgotten about you, my man. But, so Steve Wyrick was a magician, and he billed himself as the next David Copperfield. The problem is, you have to be good at magic if you're going to be the next David Copperfield. And Steve Wyrick had this habit of selling himself to investors with a lot of money and getting a lot of money and then not paying anybody. He actually bought or put his naming rights and had a long-term lease on the Steve Wyrick Theater, which you now know as the Saxe Theater, S-A-X-E, by the way. I didn't say a nasty word, YouTube. Thank you very much. And he was having like the platters, coasters, drifters, platters, coasters, marvelettes. He would lease it out to them, and he would pay them money a cut of the show. Except that he stopped paying people around 2008 when the recession hit really hard in Vegas. So from the Las Vegas Weekly and what I could find out, he had federal tax liens on him, like out the wazoo. He never paid any taxes. He was getting hundreds of millions of dollars from people. He had a complete jet aircraft in his act. I think he copied. There's an original helicopter reveal by a guy named Dirk Arthur. You should look that up on YouTube. He was the original one. He actually invented that magic trick, but you can't copyright them so people can steal it. And he went, a Texas guy bought him an aircraft for like $100 million. And he put it in his show and he said, I'm the next David Copperfield. Oh, Kathy Shepard just gave you $2.79, buddy. You're not very happy, but you're going to continue to headbutt me. Would you like some food? Would you? Okay, I know you do. Let's let you down. Careful, wobbly cat. He doesn't walk very good. The vets think he had a stroke. It was about 4 years ago. I noticed that he was not really walking very well. So I took him, and he was sneezing, and they gave him a human being antihistamine, which I actually use, called chlortripholon or something like that. And they said, Domino seems okay unless he had a stroke. And I said, how do we know if he had a stroke? And she said, it's $8,000 for a test, so I've only ever had one millionaire do that. And I said, oh, okay. Whoa, Duck Backer, I don't know you, man. Where are you from, bro? 478 thank yous to both Kathy and Duck Backer. Thank you so much, Duck. My face is really hairy. I hope it doesn't offend you if I scratch it a little bit. Wow, thank you so much. Wow. Guys, you want to know something interesting about cats? Because we're in the overtime version of this right now. We're going to talk about Steve Wyrick in a minute, too. Oh, let's finish up on Steve, because GH asked a question, and I didn't answer it properly, because we got off on another tangent. It's after hours. We talk about whatever right now. So, Steve Wyrick, they just basically one day... and I remember I worked for the Westgate timeshare people at the time in the Planet Hollywood, and they were like, we're going to rent out the Steve Wyrick Theater and throw you guys an awesome off-the-rails catered thing with a free show for your Christmas. Bring your significant others, and we were all ready to go. And his theater got shut down by the federal marshals. Yeah, when you owe a lot of money, they seize your assets. And they basically did that to him, and they put a stop work order, and he got into, wow, thank you, Mr. Classic, 888 for the overtime. Thank you so much. Look at that. And I still have 469 people watching somehow. Gosh, guys, 469 thank yous. That was nice. So Steve Wyrick, they seized all of his assets. Yeah, I mean, I assume that he was threatened with jail time. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm not allergic to cats or anything, but, the hair, man, this guy, they were all shedding. And, what are you going to do? I can't exactly bathe him because he's, like, delicate. I don't want to hurt him, So, that's what that is. Now, Dirk Arthur is an interesting story. I mean, he's been around forever. There was the reason I know about him is because I type in Las Vegas stuff on the Review Journal, and he popped up, and he was involved in the Tiger King, but he wasn't in the show. But there was an article in there talking about him, and they said that Jeff Lowe from the Tiger King went to Rick Harrison from the Pawn Stars when they were building Pawn Plaza, and they wanted to put a tiger habitat on the Strip. And so Rick did what Rick does. I guess he does it in real life. He said, let me phone a guy that knows about these things. And he called Dirk Arthur, and Dirk Arthur said, I don't think you want to deal with those guys. What? You ready to go? You ready? Oh, what? Talk louder. They can't hear you. He's not talking now. So Dirk Arthur said, I don't think so. You don't want to deal with these guys. Now, apparently Wall Street Warlord has seen Dirk Arthur's show. And so Rick did... Excuse me. Come here, baby. So Dirk made sure that Jeff Lowe couldn't have any kind of operations with Rick Harrison. And I don't know. It said in the thing that Dirk Arthur was working at Houdini's magic shop somewhere and that he was going to have a comeback. So maybe there is that. I don't know. Wayne Newton will be cutting the ribbon on Las Vegas, reopening June 9th, Reno says. That's an interesting theory. I would love to see that happen. you know. And you know, a lot of these shows though, they don't, you know, they don't have the staying power that they used to have, you know. I know, right? You're gonna be in a tiger show. You'll be the bait. No, nobody wants Domino to be the bait. This guy was Showgirls filmed at Naked City? No, it was filmed somewhere called Cheetahs, and that's on the IMDb. So, you know, that was where that was filmed. And Cheetahs is another topic for a video I can't post up here. I can post it on the Patreon, but that guy, no, that was Crazy Horse. Yeah, the Crazy Horse story. There's all these guys, man. They all get RICO'd. RICO is where they used to use it against the mobsters, where they come at you for your taxes. Yeah, he's got a domino on his back. Oh, he's purring so good right now. He's being so nice. The worst part of giving a cat a bath is all the fur sticking to your tongue. Ha! I get it, Cliff. You're insinuating that you lick him. Yeah, this is Domino. He is our little guy. He was born to a feral mother on our balcony one day with 4 other brothers and sisters, of which we got the rest adopted through a no-kill called Heaven Can Wait Animal Sanctuary. Nice people. They have a big, huge property somewhere north of the city where if the cats can't get adopted, they just run around on a farm hunting mice and being taken care of. And 2 of them went to Boston. 1 of them went to California, apparently. And the other one stayed locally. And we kept Domino because he was the runt of the litter. I would love to see Tom Jones. That would be cool. Patreon is down. Let me see if it's down. I don't know. And maybe this is just somebody saying it. I had some problems with Patreon earlier. Yeah, Patreon is down for maintenance. We appreciate your patience. We will be back shortly. Patreon was having some problems earlier when I was trying to do simple things like send posts out. And I've been archiving my carpet tearing and my flooring, and I'll keep doing that tomorrow. Oh, man, he is so hairy. I don't think it picks up on the camera, but he's so loving. He's so this guy here was the last one to eat solid food. But when he did, it was boneless, skinless chicken breast. And to this day, this little kitty cat, every time I eat these low-carb cheese quesadillas, he loves them. He eats macaroni and cheese, so he's an honorary Canadian, and we call it craft dinner. Like, remember, hey, Philip, I want to go eat some craft dinner. Craft dinner is the best food ever. I don't have any Canadian craft dinner. I can't get it down here unless I pay stupid prices on Amazon. But I would love to get a box or 2 of Canadian craft dinner. One of my relatives in Lethbridge sent me some Canadian food once. It was awesome. It was mostly chips and chocolates and stuff like that. Oh no! His ear went in. You're going to be just fine, Bubba. So this one here, he basically just, he sleeps with me every night. I lay down. He'll be on the foot of the bed. When he sees me, he gets up real fast. I know. Stop it. You're a superstar. You're better than Blackjack. Right? I know. You want to go? What do you want to do? Talk to them. I need to do something for the next few minutes. What do you want to do? What do you want to say? Okay, I know. You got to go now. Okay. We're going to let you out because you're just itching to go and do what cats do, whatever that might be. Okay, go do cat stuff. Holy cow. Oh! Look at me. I'm a magician too. I turned a black cat or a white cat into a black one. Yes, I did. This guy was sitting outside the door because he knows that when the white one goes in, there's food happening. So there he is. Cat break. Give me a break. Oh, see, look at this guy. Yeah, I got the docile one, and then I got this one. But this one's supposed to be the docile one. Why are you so mean to me, dude? What did I ever do to you, man? All right. There it is. Oh, you didn't like that. Well, I don't like how you get hair all over me, dude. Look at this. You're a mess. Now, this one here, you can literally take outside and spray him with a hose, and he doesn't really do much except for, like, you can hold him down and spray him. That's how I'm going to bathe him from now on. Just outside, except for Domino. He gets special treatment. He's a special little kid. Yeah, anyways, guys, that's what that is. Yeah, Dirk's been around forever. He's, you know what he did? I saw this because I researched him a little bit. He rescued this thing called CJ the chimp. This will be the last story I tell. So a number of years ago, there was this person in North Las Vegas that had a chimp. Now, I don't know of any stories that ever end well with. There was this person in North Las Vegas that had a chimp, but CJ the chimp got loose not once but twice. Turned out that CJ was not treated very well. And from the article I read on the Review Journal, which I can link if you ever want, Princess is doing what Princess does, which is generally staying away from people because she is not a social cat. But maybe she'll get there in her older age. So CJ the chimp escaped 2 times, and on the second time, they when they did an investigation, they found out there was no proper place for it. It was going to go wild. Now chimps have like incredible strength, and they could rip you apart if they wanted to. There was a lady, I think in Texas, that got attacked by a chimp, and I felt so, man. Ugh. So animal control needed somebody, and because this guy Dirk Arthur sits on the commission board or whatever it's called, he was called in and he rescued it, and he let it stay at his animal place because he has the wild cats for his show, and he made sure it was well fed, and then they found a good home for it. It's been living up in Oregon ever since at an animal sanctuary because, you know, these things can't always go back into the wild. You know, they're not built for that if they're born into captivity. But I thought that was a really cool thing that somebody did. And then I watched Tiger King and I went, whoa, cat people are crazy. And then I used my handbrake in my brain and I said, maybe they're just doing something for television. Maybe they just want to get people to talk. And that's what you got to do. So next time you see something that looks fantastic, over the top, ridiculous, crazy about the news cycle, take a look at it objectively. Take 10 steps back. Try to research some other sources and then come to your own conclusion. And that's all I can tell you on that. And do not adopt monkeys, as Ricky Tiki Taki says. And don't put a chimp on Prozac. And chimps are mean. Yeah, you know what? Actually, Wayne Newton has a monkey named Boo, and it's attacked people twice, and he has 2 lawsuits because of it. I remember about that chimp attack. It was tragic anyway you looked at it. It was tragic. Absolutely. Chimps are scary but cute. There's a thing called Monkey Boo you might look up on Facebook. The guy has a couple of monkeys, and he seems like he really loves them. All right, guys, now's the time of the video that we have been talking over time. We're going to get out of here today. Oh, man, I am... Look, I don't... Can you see this? This is why. You ask me why I itch and stuff. Here's what it is. I'm going to try to hold it up so you guys can see. That cat, man, he's my buddy, but he gets some level of hair that I can't even tell you. Look at that thing right there. That's why I itch. So, before you get down on me for scratching my face, just know I love my animals very, very much. Okay, we got to go. We're going to say 3, 2, 1, click. I'm going to thank you all for being here. Tell you to be there tomorrow. I don't know, somewhere. Be there or be square. Yeah, read the news objectively. Don't always go with what they want you to believe because it's all about mind control. As crazy as you think that guy whose name I can't say because I'll probably get a big channel strike is, he said that there's a war on for your mind, and there always is. Everybody's trying to sell you something. Everybody is trying. That's the lesson for today. Everybody's trying to sell you something. Everything. You're trying to sell somebody something. Everything in life is a sales game. If you want to get better at life, get better at sales. I'm not one to talk because I'm broke, but what I'm saying is this. In a normal economy, you're trying to sell yourself on your birthday to get a free dessert. You're trying to sell yourself to get the date with the girl, and then you do another sales pitch to maybe marry the girl and then have kids. I mean, everything is a sales game. Anyways, I got to go. You guys are great. We got to click out. Thank you, everybody, for generous support tonight. If you haven't already, hit the like button on your way out, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Jack, that is so kind of you. Thank you so much. I don't want to sell nothing, Mark. You are selling something every day. You're selling me right now, Mark. Mark is selling me on the concept that he doesn't want to sell anything. You see how that works? That is how it works. Red Pill Gary says fear is a great way to control people. Whoa, Margarita Gonzalez, before I had a chance to click off my channel. Thank you, Margarita Gonzalez. I wish there was more than 357 people to say thank you, but... Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would say it 350 times, but it wouldn't go out on a bang. So, everybody's selling something. I don't know what you're selling, but I hope it's good. Be good or be good at it. I gotta go. You guys are great. 3, 2, 1, and God bless y'all.